This is what I've written. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to believe that I have no influence over my body, and that my body is completely separate from me, so that if my body is allergic to plants, then I will be allergic to plants. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to believe that because adults act like they are more valuable than me because they know more than I do, that this is the way it is, and this is right, and if I do not completely and blindly accept what they see as right as they do, then this makes me wrong. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to fear being wrong, because being wrong and being crazy and insane means that I will be a target for abuse. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to fear being disregarded and abused by others, so that I will not even consider what's going on. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to become conditioned to believe that who I am is dependent on the value that the people system assigns to me. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to react to my environment as a complete, obsessive, fearful, and controlling deceiver, so that I can avoid my terror of being stripped of my apparent value in the social system and then taken advantage of. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to let myself be taken advantage of by others, so that I can avoid what I see as a situation where I may potentially be judged for not fitting in and devalued. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to believe that if others fit into the system naturally, and that if I did not try so hard to fool others, then I would either I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to believe that others fit into the system naturally, and that if I did not try so hard to fool others, then I would not, because I am not of equal value to others. Typo. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to forget and hide from this judgment that I am worth less than others, and then project it onto other kids who I believe do not fit in as much as I do, and be disgusted with them, and blame them for how I despise how their situation exists in me. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to not want to see or take responsibility for how I have defined myself in relation to my world. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to believe the judgments and values that I have wrapped the world around me in are there completely coincidentally and not at all by my own doing. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to fear being clear and present as myself here, because I am afraid of the consequences of emotion in me that will result from the emotions in others. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to become conditioned to be obsessed and paranoid about other people disregarding and abusing me. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to not notice how fixated I was with this tendency that exists in people. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to become addicted to the intention to make absolutely sure that I will never have to experience that kind of a relationship with others ever again. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to try and trick others into thinking that I am too confident to be afraid of being treated like I am worth less than them. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to become obsessed and fixated with the fear that now I have an image to lose, so that if I am ever exposed, then I will look even worse by contrast, and will be even more seen as worthless, and even more be justified to be treated awfully. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to give up on my situation and become conditioned to believe that there is absolutely nothing I can do, and so I retreat into myself, hoping no one will come inside here to fuck with me, and if they do, then I will spring back at them with everything I have. And that's like allergies. So, these guys are still here, and it's been a couple hours since my last video, and I went downstairs and I tried, because for a while my nose was just tremendous pressure, just like right here, and now this nostril is like clear, and this one is not at all. I tried eating jalapenos, uh, eating raw onion, like chopping up a bunch of raw onion and then crushing the little pieces and then being like, and trying to like inhale I had to keep my eyes closed, by the way, like my face that close would have burned my eyes, just trying to like inhale the onion vapors. That didn't help, and neither did garlic. But yeah. So I might put up a video in a couple days to see if my allergies do the same pattern tomorrow. Like where I start out in the morning just like, and then they gradually go away during the day. Because that might mean that forgiveness didn't have much to do with it.